Hello, welcome. My name is Vex. This is our Saturday slash Friday leak. We're a day late, but today we're going to be talking about the new Godforge leaks, as well as react to a new video that was released on Halloween that showcases another character. And actually, we get to see it in game, which is a little bit more interesting than like concept art because we get to see what it's going to look like in game. For those of you who may not know, we do record these live on stream. So if you want to be a part of the chat, you can come to twitch.tv/vexinglive and participate in chat while we go through these. And normally I put like timestamps in the description. So if you already saw the Friday leaks on somebody else's channel and want to skip to the react, there should be a timestamp for that and links to the video in the description as well, so you can give that video some love. Anyway, let's talk about Horus, the Egyptian god. There's a couple of interesting things this week to go over relative to Horus. But first, we've got to start with the concept art. I wish that we had seen a little bit more of the sort of like drafting of the concept of Horus and what directions they wanted to take, but I think overall he looks pretty fucking sweet. I don't know. He seems, I mean, he's like super elegant, but he looks like kind of powerful, right? He's got the god features, but I do want to point out this is like the 7th character that I've seen with a staff that's sort of shaped like this. Like, I love staves, you know? Gandalf, classic. I love going out in the woods and finding a big stick that, could be a walking stick. But it's like every character has a staff. Like, I feel like we've not seen too many people with just like normal swords, or I guess we saw, oh man, I can't remember their names. The like jester guy the other week we saw has like a shirk, I think that's what it's called, or krisk. I can't remember what. It's like a dagger. Like that was different, but anyway. I think this looks extremely Egyptian, and I think this is in line with some of the other characters that we've seen from this faction. But there was another. This was an alternate version of Horus that I think I might like this one a bit better. Like, I don't know if this is just meant to be like, oh, here's one of our iterations that we were going through and we were deciding on, or if this is potentially like a future cosmetic. But I mean, they're both cool. But if this was a cosmetic that I could like earn in game, or maybe through like a battle pass or something, I would definitely use this. Like, this one seems very powerful. He's got these sort of like tattoos or like sort of glowing veins. But this looks sick. It looks like kind of scary, but his eyes look, I don't know. This to me just seems a bit more impactful, more powerful. This one's just like I could take this guy. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I just think that the color palette on this one looks really interesting compared to some of the other stuff in the Egyptian faction. It's just, it's overall darker. It's got sort of the same silhouette. And, oh, the godly inhuman. Yeah. Like his skin color isn't like here he's got like a sort of normal skin color. This is like this, like a deadish gray. I like the shoulder bit here too. I don't know what this is called. I don't know. It's not a coif, right? Here, like Non pointed out, it looks very much like a druid transmog from World of Warcraft. Like, I have definitely seen those shoulders in World of Warcraft. Like, they have feathers here. You can get them in purple or like an ombre from red to orange. Like that was definitely used in the concept art, which is fine, or the gathering for inspiration, right? I have used that transmog in the game, but this is just like totally unique, and the way the helmet is formed is so interesting too. I don't know what bird Horus is meant to depict. It seems like it could be a hawk, but this one seems a little bit more owlish, and maybe that's why they didn't go with it. Because yeah, it seems like in this he's meant to be a hawk, and I figured it was something like that. But this one doesn't scream hawk to me. This one does that pretty well. Yeah, I guess maybe from the front. Maybe it'd be different if we saw it from the side. Okay, we keep going. Oh, here we go. Horus Shenring as a reference for the wings. Falcon. Oh, okay. Yeah. A little bit better. Maybe it's because like the sort of face is a bit shorter. I don't know. Eye reference. Eye of Horus only on left side. You got no pants on. That's what it says on Google. Okay. Yeah, the profile seems less, I don't know, less reminiscent of a hawk, which, if it's meant to be a falcon, that makes sense. I didn't know that this eye was the eye of Horus. I also, bless you, I also don't see it anywhere on the character. Unless, like, that is it? So you can't. This here? Yeah, the face not being completely flat. It takes away the owlness. But I didn't realize that this was the Eye of Horus, and when I see this, I think of Death from the Sandman universe. That'd be a cool faction. Crossover with DC. Have some Sandman characters. I like that sometimes they make details on the characters' backs, and then they cover them. They cover them with wings or capes or something. Maybe we have removable capes. Yeah. Or like tattoos. I think there's an Overwatch character that has that as a tattoo. Wait, I think I like this staff a little bit better. This concept. So this looks like a final concept. Like they've gone with it. It also. This is AI generated. This seems much more of an interesting staff because it seems like you could. I mean, there's a blade on either end. You could. You could see him with an attack that's like maybe a double hitter, where you hit with one side, like, and then follow up with the second, or like spin it around or something. Like, that could be interesting. But I don't know. Maybe they went with that one. We'll see. Oh, never mind. Looks like they went with the double-edged. I like that they keep the sort of feather motif as well. Okay, these are the same. They're just like, they're rotating it to show how lighting reacts to it. So it's all the same staff. Yeah, I'm sure that it has a name. The weapon has a name. I have no idea what the name is. I actually really like that each of these is a different color. I don't know, when I think Egyptian mythology and like gods or beings of a higher status, you think of like sort of gaudy, lots of gold, lots of jewelry or jewels, and this like gems embedded into it. Just, I don't know. It just seems so right. I like this more than the idea of just having like strips of color, because it does look like feathers. I mean, yeah, I don't know if I have no idea if ancient Egyptians had so many precisely cut gems, but it looks cool. So, and like he's gonna hit you with that, and that feels bad. Don't hit me with that. And they've kept the vibrant colors through everything. It looks like maybe not everything's like a gem, but we've got things that are just like dyed, you know. So they've definitely gone with the version of Horus that I did not prefer. It's not that I don't prefer it. It's just I like the other one better. There's some hieroglyphs on his bracers. I don't know hieroglyphs, so I don't know what they say, but I like the colors of the mask too. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about how thick his neck is. That's so... I don't know. That just seems... enameled? Maybe. Like, it seems like it should be a helmet, right? I mean, I guess in the one... Oh, man, how do I go back? In this one, in the statue, it's like he's got no neck, right? He's just got the head of a falcon, right? That's fair. That's fair. So what I was thinking is maybe instead of this like bandage situation that's happening here, it's just like total shadow. I don't know, maybe that would look bad. Where you see the depth and you maybe don't see a neck. I don't know. I like this thing in the middle too. Looks like a clasp. I think it looks really nice though. And the helmet too? Like the like feathers up here. Oh, you see, wait. It said in the concept art, hey, only put the Eye of Horus on the left side. But then it's on both sides. You see? I mean, who cares? It looks cool, but it'd be cool if it was asymmetrical, right? It's a bolo tie. Yeah. Oh, so we've got some actual animations, which is really nice. Let me loop this. So he jumps up, flutters a little bit, and raises his staff up. Presumably that's a buff. What the heck is going on with this player? Interesting. It kind of looked like he would, or maybe he's like, calling down lightning or something. Without effects is tough to tell, but this kind of feels like a buff. Or a debuff, I guess. I like that his wings sort of articulate, though. And they look decent. It's not like they're being stretched so much that it's unbelievable. Like they are articulating well. Half of a two-handed overhead swing. Yeah, I'm wondering. So if this isn't a full animation, he would then just like executioner bring it down, right? He would just like smash into the ground. But with his wings being arced like that, I don't know. I don't know. We do have more, though. Oh, it's a bit smoother. Oh, it's this is a different attack. This is actually an attack. Triple somersault. I like the sort of weight that this has. It's very difficult for the whoa. That's strange. That's a wipeout. It's very difficult when you're animating something to give something weight, right? Because you're animating something that you can apply gravity to things, but that doesn't come through while animating something. That really only comes into play when something is being manipulated via a controller. When it comes to animation, you're meant to sell the idea that this thing exists in this physical world, and sometimes it's really, really hard to do. I don't know if I'm adequately describing what I'm talking about, but like it could very easily look really dumb. He could do like one flap and go up super far, and like that's unbelievable, right? Because he's like a person. Like he jumps up, he sort of hovers there a little bit to gather some speed, get a little bit of extra height, and then just like plummets down. Like that's really nice. Yeah, the hang time. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That extra little is so good. Pew! Let's see if we get to other angles. That's going to be an attack that does 10 damage. He's going to have crappy multipliers. Like, it looks good. It's not going to do any damage. Oh, his eyes are white. There's probably some effect that's going to happen on his eyes. Oh, even this. Like, look at the power stance, too. I didn't even notice this. Like, he widens his stance. He gets real low as his wings go up. Boom! Jumps up. Yeah. I'm sure that. You're talking about his body? Oh yeah, he kind of like at the end of the animation. Maybe it's difficult to tell from certain angles. It looks kind of like. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm just imagining. It's really hard to get. Yeah, he sort of like reels back a little bit, like his arm bends. Like he just hit something, right? And his staff stopped and he kept going. I'm sure there's going to be some impact effect as well. And the like flutter back is nice. That's, I think, maybe the weakest, actually. It'd be, oh my god, can you imagine? If he jumps up, dives into his opponent, and then, like, kicks off of them to get back to, like, the line. That'd be brutal. Like this, he sort of just, like, scoops into them and then comes back. But if you watch his wings, it's just, that's a little bit less believable. Just like the end part where he scoops, his wings flap once and he's back. But you kind of only notice it because the parts are around it are well done. Yeah, exactly. I think the ending is just a little bit lacking, but we've also got to remember that this is 1 times. Most people are going to play the game at 2 times. So who's going to really notice these things? And this might not even be final, right? It's super nice, though. Okay. He kind of, I can't really tell. Maybe there's no effects on it yet, but you can kind of see. It's very difficult to see. He does have those lines, and you can see his back. He has those lines on him, but they're just etched onto him. They're not glowing or anything, which might be an effect, you know. That's just not in yet. Shadow looks like doo-doo. That's like a believable A1. This looks, I don't. There's some weird deformities happening. Like if you watch his foot, his left foot, his foot like deforms here. So that needs to be ironed out. But I mean, theoretically you might not see it depending on what camera angle you're at. It looks as if that his toe has been anchored to the plane. I thought at first that this might have been fucking motion captured. I don't know if this is a stock animation or not, but whatever the case, it looks good. You sort of, it definitely sells the like, I'm swiping at you with a bladed object. I'm nitpicking because this is really nice. I like the one hand swing into the 2-hand grab it for like the actual hit, and his hands sliding on the staff looks really good too. Does he let go? Yeah, he lets go of it too. That's not easy. His hands are sliding on it and letting go of the weapon. That tells me that we might get some weapon cosmetics. Oh, for sure. If you're the opponent, you just back up, and now he's like wide open, and you kill him. But he's a god. It's fine. Oh, is that it? That's it. Okay, that's it for Horus. Interesting. I really hope that we get this one as a cosmetic. I could see even just like the same staff, but, you know, darker color palette, maybe silver instead of gold. I really like how it's essentially the same silhouette, but it has such a different tone. And the feathers, like the feathers that they went with are very, they're very static. You know, they look like they were carved out of something or made with metal or whatever. This Horus looks like actual feathered wings. The wings, you know, have some deformity, some color ombre, ceremonial. Maybe. I think it would be really, really cool as just like a cosmetic. Interesting. Crown jewels. Oh, sure. I mean, regardless, the one that they picked looks good, and some of the animations look really, really nice. I think this is an interesting leak. We do have more coming, though. There's another character we're about to talk about that I know I have some choice opinions on, but what else is new? Anyway, that's going to do it for the Friday leak stuff. We're going to hop into that video. This will likely be uploaded Sunday. So sorry for the delay, but I just got a new computer. It got everything set up. Finally can get back to a somewhat regular schedule. Anyway, let's pause Spotify and hop into the video. I apologize if the volumes are kind of bad. I hope people in chat can help me out.
Hey guys, this is Simon from Fateless, and today we've cooked up an amazing spooky Halloween.
So this was released on Halloween. I'm a little
so
late.
Excited for this one. It's going to be such a cool reveal. I'm going to take you through one of our heroes, probably the...
If you don't already have 1.25 or 1.5 times on, you might want to put that on.
Scariest one yet.
If you're watching this.
Some of the research we did, some of the mood boarding, the 2D, then the iteration on that, then the 3D modeling, take you right the way up to animations and VFX in-game of this Norse awesome hero. Ah, man, this one I've been waiting to show you guys for a while. And I've got to call it out. Ragewood, who does content on Godforge already, spotted this like a couple weeks back. I'm like,
his videos are pretty good.
The guy's basically a detective at this point. And in one of his videos, he was like, I bet this is going to be a Halloween special. And I'm like, damn, that's exactly what it's going to be, which is kind of funny. Anyway, we're going to be talking about Hel from Norse mythology. So the ruler of the Underworld in Norse. Such a cool character. So many like cool takes on Hel over the years. But we've got our own one. And honestly...
Oh my god. You know what I don't want to buy? A 3D wooden puzzle nightlight.
I'd say it's literally our top work so far. So really, really impressed with it. A lot of you will probably think of Hel or Hela as the kind of like Marvel character. You know, Odin's daughter.
She was
that
really
type
cool
of stuff.
in the movies.
Not quite right, actually. So Hel is the queen of Helheim, which is actually the underworld in Norse mythology. Interestingly, if Vikings didn't die in battle and they died in a dishonorable way or a cowardly way, i.e. they died of old age, they would go to Hel. And Hel
Oof.
was equally named. She was a daughter of Loki, the trickster, and basically she ruled there. Odin sent her down to Hel to rule. So yeah, pretty cool actually. The mythology of it is super fun. I was reading through it and I learned a bunch of stuff because I also just kind of watch Marvel films. But yeah, she
yeah, I know nothing about Norse
description here
that doesn't involve
it's definitely part of the
maybe like God of War or
what she would look like.
Marvel.
Yeah, so here we go. So her appearance is described as being half flesh covered, just like a living human being, and half blue. Her personality traits are described as threatening, harsh, and cruel. Right, let's get on to some of the mood boarding we did then. So generally here, what Esther does
this is I'm pretty sure, is this a character from Watcher of Realms? Maybe Dragonair? I don't know.
General styles, visual kind of cues, things that we want to try and call out. And I like what Esther's doing here. So she's looking at different fashion, different inspirations.
So this is what I want to see more of when we get Friday leaks of characters. Just from a personal thing. Like if I could wave a wand and have it magically happen every time, this is what I want to see. And this might only be like one person's process, so maybe that's why we don't always get it, but I love seeing the different inspirations that somebody has. Like as somebody who has a Pinterest with a million boards, that's just interesting to me.
She's looking at kind of like posing, that type of stuff. And yeah, she's kind of like called out 1, 2, 3 on this board. Emissive specific areas where you can see glowing veins or skeleton hints on 1 here. 2, half rotten body. So you can see the kind of like the rotten side of this character. Not sure what this is from actually. And then 3, an exoskeleton in the form of armor, which she can kind of call out on this arm. But still lots of cool kind of takes here. And then we've got a second mood board where this is more just looking at dark witches, sorceresses, necromancer type of a board really. So again, lots of just cool images of how do you create that fear on a hero or a character, artistically. So some really, really nice touches here. And again, just some inspiration points for Esther.
One of them looks like one of the killers from Dead by Daylight.
Feel. She's then looked at hell specifically and different takes on hell in different games or film or
I only
comics, that type of
recognize
stuff.
the
Hell appearances
Marvel one.
is described as half blue and half flesh covered, and further as having a gloomy downcast appearance. So again, there's just kind of some really cool takes here. It's kind of like skeletal view in the top left. It's almost like almost like who's the female Wolverine? Can't remember, but
X-23.
Anyway, really
Come
cool
on,
take
Simon.
here on the right.
X-23.
Yeah, some really nice visual cues. So we get to the point where we get our first set of 2D concepts. So I guess the first kind of mini reveal of the direction we were going with on our version of Hell, and very like sorceress, I guess skeletal or kind of this kind of like different vibe on the left hand side of her.
I really like the
three
right
different
one.
Iterations
The
that
third.
we could start to talk about and get excited about, honestly. And what's cool here is we then have this kind of like feedback session back and forth between artists, myself, Dane comes in, the people really that start to support Esther and the different team which do these different concepts in for us. So I said here at this point, these are cool. I like the idea of her face having this kind of like half and half effect, but I'd like to go a bit scarier on Hell. And I dropped a couple of references. So this was a reference which
Looks
which
like
I
a book
dropped in.
cover.
Esther then kind of came up with a fourth iteration where now we've got this almost like roots coming through, more
I
kind of
think
like
maybe
ghostly,
I like the helmet more.
almost like a little bit more deformed,
But maybe that's more
still
like
using
Marvel.
the same kind of like base meshes. Dane then pipes up and he's like, right, nice work for this legendary, and it is important that it's a legendary, but we do try and push the boat when we're going higher rarities. I think we need to take a moment and really ramp up the type of details and play with the silhouette. And then what Dane tends to do is some overdraw work. So he then dropped a couple more references in. It was like, bam, this one from Valhalla Kings, this one here as well, just from kind of like Googling different versions. And Dane basically comes in with this one, where he's done an overdraw. So he takes the final...
There was something I wanted to point out, but I forgot.
Esther has done, and he's like, right, can we really ramp up different elements? And what he'll do is he'll literally break down.
So this is nitpicky, but here is the file name, and turns out they name files much like I do with the date. This was a concept in August. When this was released to the public was the end of October. So it was probably done. She was probably done maybe mid-October at the very latest, so that Simon could film this and, have everybody okay it or whatever. So this type of character, in addition to whatever else they've got going on, took maybe about 2 months to at least conceptually and visually make and put in game. Maybe that doesn't include her abilities or animations. There are some animations, we'll see. But they seem to be very proficient with their ability to hyper focus on various aspects of the game to get them out in a short time. 2 months for a legendary character, if it's not the only thing they're working on, seems pretty good. It just seems very good to me, because that means that they could, if you think about in terms of like a Hoyo game, they could release a banner, they could release a new character, and then a week after, they could start the sort of drip marketing for the next character or a character, in the future that's coming, who is likely already done, or at least mostly done, to get everybody excited to keep that sort of banner train going. zero reactive balance at the moment. What do you mean? Like I mean, I don't know if any of, you know, if that timeline is like the 2 months or like 2.5 months ish, if that includes everything about the character or if that's only visually the character, right? How do you know when this is done? I mean, fair. Like I said, who knows if this includes their abilities, and how much testing, right? Oh my God, Henry. Oh, I don't have sound alerts on this. Correct.
Down the different pieces that he's looking to adapt or change.
After this video, we'll play some games.
And he'll just do like a call out to different areas of it. So Dane's line work, line drawing is immense, by the way. He's like so good at this in terms of knowing proportion.
So there's two big things that I want to point out with this. So they've overlaid some. Okay, well here's the character we've got. Here's some changes we want to make, right? If you look at her like thigh and like upper right arm, you can see she's got like some kind of phantasmal thing going on, and you can see her bones, which was like very similar to one of the sketches that the artist had made, or one of the concepts the artist had made. And then her cloak is very like almost like ethereal or like fiery. Like there's an animation to it, there's effects to it. So just keep those in mind.
Yeah, visual cues. It's really, really good. Like it's amazing to see when he does this type of visual cue to support the concept team. And it really is like this kind of like 50-50 approach to trying to create something great, honestly. So I'm just going to take you through some of the notes that Dane made here. So it's basically like number one, on the boots, we can use these leggings and instep armor. 2, the hood and twisted root branch. So this kind of like area around here. We want to take it even further.
Also think that there might be too many characters already that have hoods.
Even more. Number 3, which is kind of like the colorings and the stuff around her face.
I'm noticing hoods a lot
These
as
green
well.
areas are basically the undead half from your designs. We want to push this even further. A fully spectral translucent half with the skeleton shown through. I've moved some costume elements to cover up the seams, but we want to take the opportunity to make her a really spooky lady. Then we've got number 4, which is kind of referencing her arms and stuff. We can keep this sleeve shape, but maybe exaggerate it more. Number 5, to integrate her weapon, we could put similar Underworld crystals from like this onto her form, so onto her arm and her kind of like almost like crystal root thing that's coming out here. And then 6, let's make sure that we've got a cool cape going on rather than just like a straight down cape. So a number of different kind of reference points here to try and help Esther kind of get to that final piece. So we then get to our final 2D concept. And
do you feel annoyed? Do you feel peeved?
Yeah,
well,
I do feel annoyed. Get out of here, man.
Honestly, so really great work. We get the full body shot here with the kind of now visual. You can see the bones kind of like
we've got the sort of ethereal cape that, you know, fades into, maybe there's some kind of effect that almost like fire sort of licks off the cape. Looks super cool. And then her right half is just completely like ethereal, almost like jello, with like her bones as like a see-through. Like, it's sick.
Coming through, you've got the root.
But then we've got like, I don't know, we've got a hood. Like, we've got all these really cool elements, and then we're going to like hide some of her. We're going to hide the back of the corset. We're going to hide the back of the neck.
Now, as Dane kind of drawed it with these almost like
we're
crystals.
going to hide like the fact that half of her face is like sort of rotten away.
This
like,
kind of like real
why
cool
does every character need a hood
going on? And then we've got a nice back view with almost like a flowing style cape. I really like the color scheme as well. It works so well. Very, very cool. And you've still got this kind of like nice Norse style visual when you do the close up as well on, you know, the top of her, what do you call it? Like hood. Top of her hood. And you just see the kind of like hair braid coming down. Really, really cool visual. So let's jump into 3D. So I'm going to take you through some steps
for
here.
sure,
Day 2 of the block.
I mean, they talked about the seams of her clothing and her hair covering the seams of the ethereal bones meshing with the normal. Yeah.
The artists tend to
I mean, it makes sense, but like, You'll see. You'll see.
This is Walter, who is an absolute god when it comes to anything 3D design. Honestly, this guy is unreal. So on day 2, you're already getting like the main shapes of her armor, her cape, you know, the general form coming in. Day 3, he starts to go in and do some face work, and all the time we're kind of, not all the time, every few days we give a bit of feedback around general shape and stuff if we need to. But this one was going on really well, and obviously you can see that at the moment it's a fully human kind of look. We're then getting to day 10, where Walter's really like working on the armor specifically, and you know, some of the kind
like,
of
look at this.
the
This like gem up there. I didn't even see that on the concepts.
also detailing. Day
Well, that's gonna get
11,
lost.
He does work on the neck. This is where Walter works. Not everyone does it in this way, by the way, but Walter would just take piece by piece and like perfect that whilst he's doing his work. So it's very, very cool way to see it, because you see all of the individual pieces being done. You can see this kind of like work on the arm here, and this almost definitely feel to it. We get to day 15, and he starts to do work on the face. Oh,
That looks really good.
so good. The work is so good. So you start to get this kind of rotten side.
But can you imagine if she had no hood and she, like, because of this sort of rotten face, had like patches of hair missing?
Of the face with the glowing eye, and hell starts to be born, honestly. And when you then put the other pieces on, we're really getting a great visual, a great feel from the 3D. Got the decayed arm here, a bit of extra work on day 16, where he's really kind of like ramped up the visual on the arm. And then we get to the...
That detail not front and center is lost or wasted. I don't really understand the idea of that detail. It's the foundation that makes what it's covering believable. What do you mean? It's the foundation that makes...
high poly final, which is all of the work done from a sculpting point of view. It's not all the textures yet. It's all of the work from a sculpting. You can see the whole...
The cape looks nice,
right
but like you can't... I mean, maybe you can remove the cape. I don't know. But like, unless the cape flutters up super high, nobody's gonna know. And it's even underneath the cowl of the hood. You can't see this like gem.
hand side of her body has got this
Like,
kind of
why did he spend time making that if it's just going to be
decayed
100%
feel.
covered?
You've got the normal side of her body, the human side, on her left-hand side. So we then get to a kind of reveal. This is when the hero is baked down. So what does that mean? So you take a high poly, which is a lot of polygons, you bake
To inform the overall form of the piece. Yeah, but who knows that that's there? The artist?
it down so that then you can retexture the model, and it will then work well on things like mobile, right? So this is like a look at a bake, which is one of the different elements we go through. He then starts to do the texturing work. So what does that mean? It's bringing in the sort of colors we'd...
I think if somebody's gonna spend time on it, like to like it's not even just like a flat, at least it doesn't look like it's a flat
the torso
object. Like there's
detail.
legitimate detail and time spent here, and like then it's just 100% covered. How is I'm actively not able to understand. Like, how is the time spent on this gem and not anywhere else bringing the piece together? Because only the artist and the devs know it's there, and us. It could have just been like it could have been the silver all the way through. It could have not had a gem there. It could have been a different shape. Like,
Take piece
I don't
by
know, maybe
piece.
I'm stuck and
like,
shouldn't care.
what does that mean? It's bringing in the sort of colors we'd actually want to see in game, and you can really get a feel now for...
I mean, true. Like, especially, I mean, you don't want you don't want to leave out details like that, like, I don't know, freckles on somebody's face, even if you're only going to see the back of them or something like, I guess.
Or the visual quality of hell looking absolutely insane in this visual, and water.
So I do like the color, and the sort of decayed, you can see her teeth through it.
Absolutely knocking it out the park
Sick.
on the visual. So this is before we're in game, and we start
It makes the thing feel familiar. Like, I'm okay with the gems on the front. They match sort of with the crystals. They match with, like, her color scheme.
to get the 3D now turntable
This, though, I don't really know if...
for her as a fin.
I don't really know if I mean, it's a mobile game.
Really get a feel now for.
And I don't know how friendly Unity
visual
is with these
quality
types of things,
hell
but, like,
looking absolutely insane.
this...
in this visual as a finish.
I don't know how this was not flagged.
And we start to get the 3D now.
The texture that is on her leg includes the bone that you're meant to see. So, like, her bone is meant to be in her leg, right? But here it's just overlaid on top,
Turntable
weakly on the side,
for
and then
her
on the back.
quality of hell.
This
visual.
was very
Oh, good.
shocking.
Model.
And it's all of the bones.
And we start to
Like
get
her
the 3D
chest
now,
as well, her arm.
turntable.
Like, they're just overlaid textures. There is a... This is just the thing that I thought of. There is a mount in World of Warcraft, and there's bosses and pets and things like that. This, like, jello sort of slime mount, and, like, the cat here, it's got this silhouette that's slightly translucent, and then it has actual, like, bones on the inside. It's not just like a texture on the outside. So when it moves, those move as well. Like, I don't know. For as much detail that went into this, I was, like, super surprised when I got to this point.
As a finished model with the textures done. So good. It's actually so good. I love this one. It's so brilliant. And then we get a close up on the face again, the turntable.
It just
Look
looks
at the
strange. Like, maybe not the ribs or the hands, but the arms and legs.
work. It's really cool. Absolutely top quality work. And this is before we add any VFX and stuff. So, you know, we're really starting to get into a place now where, you know, we can see everything going on. The weapon's also sculpted in the same way, and we want the weaponry to feel like it belongs to that person, you know, that character. So
Another
the weapon
staff.
there,
Just saying.
and I guess let's go into engine and start to look at the final reveal. So we then, once we've got our 3D model, we need to move on to animation, and we need to move on to obviously things like visual effects. And what we've done here, I'm just showing you some of the different work that we do along the way. So here is just some block out animation that Brandon from the team.
I don't know what the process would be to... I mean, it would likely lead to more polygons, right? I don't know what the process would be to make something translucent like that. Like, I don't know how the developers for World of Warcraft or anything in any other game that looks like that, you know, I don't know how they went about that. I don't know how to solve it, but I'm just pointing it out.
Team does. So
I'm, like I said at the beginning of the video, like, I'm just a dumbass with an opinion.
he's kind of like giving us initial feels for what an idol breaker might look like, what an idol might look like, and then we give feedback to him. So Brandon's done a couple here. This is just like a block out feel of it. Look at the fingers, just kind of like pulsing. Really, really cool. Very, very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
So,
and that was without effects, so maybe... I don't know, I'm trying to imagine if I see the character at like 3/4, and I'm looking at like her side profile, and I'm looking at the decayed side, and I see the back texture and the front texture slightly, and the side of her leg doesn't show a bone. I'm like,
so you can just kind of get a feel of what some of the
Superman
animations will look like. So before the big reveal, I just want to show you some of the work we've done on rigging quickly. What we've actually got is improved rigs. Like the rigs now are so much better than they were before, which means we've got like more flexibility in what we can do with the models. And here's a nice little demo here from Damon. Let's just get a dance in. But you can see some of the work that's been done in different areas of the rig without causing too much like pain for devices. And this is the thing, like there's only so much you can do to make mobile run smoothly for kind of like different level of devices, but we just wanted to add some different elements to our rig.
I foresee if the game blows up and like gets super popular, they're gonna need to either shift away from Unity with Unreal or something else, or they're gonna have to make their own engine.
Rigs. So we've now got some of the kind of eye movement possible. We've got mouth movement possible. You can see the finger flexing.
Maybe I just have such a sour taste for Unity.
Which just means that we can give more character to the heroes that we're creating. Okay, so let's bring it all together. Let's have a look in engine.
Look at her portrait though. The portrait looks sick. And she's got a shield. I still want to... so, quick aside, I'm working on a... Slowly. It's not active. I'm not actively working on something. Slowly putting together a presentation to the people at Fateless on what makes a good gacha game. It's also an exercise for myself because I have aspirations of creating my own, even though, you know, maybe if I had another lifetime, I would do it. It's also for me, right? And to really point out like what makes a game good in my opinion. In that video, we're gonna go over UI, and Godforge will be featured heavily.
In game, we've got the portrait here on the left-hand side.
In terms of things that I would like to see from the game, not what I like that is currently in the game.
Cool, which is very, very telling of.
Okay, so here we got some
from
effects.
what we've seen so far, and then we get the in-game with some visual effects going off on the eye and the weapon, and we just get like kind of like a little flourish here for her idle break. Obviously, we still got to work through all of her ability animations and that type of stuff, but so good, such a cool like release for Halloween.
From the front, it's like pretty sold.
Here on the left.
But from the sides, it's like definitely clear that's not where her legs are. I do like this overlaid effect. It makes it look like her legs sort of like a lava lamp.
Which is
but that sort of sells the like 3D aspect of it.
Of
the bone is the biggest issue. But, I mean, there's so much else going on with the character. Like I said, the cape didn't make it. There's no effects on the cape, right? It's just wind. I thought that it would have more
some visual effects,
like sparkly sort of fire effects.
Going off on the eye.
The eye looks sick. I mean, overall, I think she looks fantastic. But the bone's just like
and we just get
a bit strange.
Like kind of like a little flourish here for her idol.
And maybe this is like a symbol for a support character.
Break. Obviously, we still got to work through all of her ability animations and that type of stuff, but
also, I think maybe toning down some effects on her staff. You kind of lose the details of the staff because you can't see it. Cool. It's like lost in like a blur, just too dense color.
Release for Halloween. So enjoy your Halloween.
Anyway, that's it. I was going to react to a different Fateless video, but this has gone on far, far too long. Maybe I'll wrap that one into the presentation at some point, because that goes over a little bit more of the in-game UI and stuff like that. So regardless, I hope everybody enjoyed themselves. I would love to hear some opinions in the comments or in the Discord. I'm in the Fateless Discord like every day, just like BSing with everybody. I don't know, it's fun. It's a good community so far. And the game's not even out yet, which is kind of crazy. Anyway, have a good night. Bye.